Did you get a haircut?
Nope.
Did you change the side of your head your bows on?
Nope.
Did you brush your teeth?
Well, I did, yes. But something else.
Is it the whale mask you have on?
You have a whale on my face.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, that's really lucky because I was thinking we could work on the whale award today.
Oh, I was hoping so too.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
I'm glad you can take a hint.
Do you remember in the Bible there's a story about a whale or a big fish? Do you remember that story?
Was it Daniel in the whale's den?
It was not Daniel in the whale's den, no.
That's not a thing. Was it Noah and the whale's ark?
No.
No. Oh, I know.
Okay.
It was Jonah and the whale.
Yes, it was Jonah and the whale. You
I
got
know
it.
that story.
Do you want to listen to a story? Do you want to watch a video on that story?
Yes, I do.
All right. I bet it's kind of similar to the one you've heard before.
Probably, but I like that story.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Stories of the Bible. Jonah. This is Jonah. Jonah was a prophet. That means it was his job to tell people what God told him to say.
Yep.
One day, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh because the people of Nineveh were doing bad things. But instead, Jonah ran away.
Where are you, please?
And went to the port to board a ship, going the other way. He was hoping to get away from God.
Oh,
He sailed for a place called Tarshish. While he was at sea, God sent a great and powerful wind over the sea that caused a storm that seemed like it would break the ship apart. Fearing for their lives, the sailors tried everything they could think of to save the ship. Meanwhile, Jonah was sound asleep, so the captain went down and said, "How can you sleep at a time like this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will help us." Then the crew figured out that Jonah was the reason for the storm, and they asked him, "Who are you? Why is this happening to us?" Jonah told them who he was and that he worshiped the one true God who made the sea. Then he told the sailors to throw him in the sea so the storm would stop.
no, why?
The sailors still tried to escape the storm, but it was no use. So they asked God for forgiveness and threw Jonah into the sea. The storm stopped at once.
Whoa!
The sailors were amazed at God's power and they vowed to serve him. Now God sent a great fish to swallow Jonah,
Great.
and Jonah was inside the fish for 3 days and nights. Jonah prayed to God from inside the fish, and God ordered the fish to spit Jonah out.
Ugh, yuck.
God told Jonah again to go to the city of Nineveh to tell them what God had said about them.
I get it.
This time, Jonah obeyed God and went to Nineveh to deliver God's message. The people of Nineveh stopped doing bad things and turned to God. They were saved because they listened to the message that God had given Jonah.
That video.
I really liked it.
I like the story of Jonah and the whale myself, too. I think it's a good reminder that God loves us very much and wants to save us.
I think it's also a reminder that he can use unusual means to help us.
I think that's true, yeah. I wouldn't expect to find myself in a whale.
Yeah, I bet Jonah thought long and hard in the belly of the whale about how he probably should have obeyed God in the first place.
I think you're probably right.
Hello! Hi! Miss Becky told me to come talk to you. She said you knew a lot about whales.
You want to learn about whales? I know about whales.
Oh, wow! Yes! My name is Katie. What's your name?
Your name is Katie. My name is Katie too.
No way! We're knee buddies! High five!
Awesome. So, Katie, what would you like to know about whales?
Oh, man. So, I know they live in the water. Are there any whales in the lake?
No, there are lots of cool animals in the lake, but unfortunately, there are no whales in the lake. Whales and dolphins, they live in salt water, so they live in the ocean and seas all around the world, but unfortunately, there's no whales in this lake.
Oh, bummer. I was hoping I could go swim with a whale later.
I know, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yes! So, what whales live around us?
So there's lots of cool whales that live around us. There's the right whales, there's the fin whales, there's some sperm whales, and humpback whales, and minke whales.
Whoa, that sounds like a lot of whales!
Yeah! Whales are really cool. They're a really diverse group of animals. So diverse means there's lots of different kinds.
Whoa, like what?
So there's two main kinds of whales.
Oh.
There's the odontocete whales. So
That sounds like a big word.
it is. Have you ever
Donta,
heard?
does that mean like dentist?
It does.
Whoa!
Like dentist. So that is the odontocete whales. They all have teeth, and the other
Oh, so they need dentists.
sometimes, yeah. You know, we all need to go to the dentist sometimes.
Sure,
right?
yeah. Okay.
So the other type of whale, they're called the mysticete whales. And do you know what mysticete means?
No, but it does not mean dentist.
It does not mean dentist. It means mustache.
Oh, mustache! Wait, I've never seen a whale with a mustache.
You've never. So mysticete whales, instead of teeth, they don't have any teeth. They have plates of keratin, which is just like your hair or a mustache.
They have hair in their mouth.
They do. It's called.
That's weird.
Isn't it
What do
weird?
they do with hair in their mouth?
So the hair in their mouth, it's not quite hair. It's more like fingernails, and it's in long plates called baleen.
Oh.
And what baleen whales do, instead of chewing up their food or catching it and grabbing it, they'll take a big gulp of seawater and fish.
That sounds salty.
Very, right? And they'll push their tongue against the inside of that baleen and spray out all of the water and keep all the fish in there.
Oh, that sounds very efficient.
Yeah. Do you want to pretend to be a baleen whale when you go home?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a fun game for you. The
Okay,
parents will
a
love
game.
me. So when you go home, take a big mouthful of Cheerios and milk, and then put your teeth together like this, and squirt out the milk on the
Oh,
side.
my mom's gonna love this game.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So that's how baleen whales eat. Instead of catching their food in one by one, they can just take a whole bunch at once.
That is really neat.
Yes, isn't it?
Wow.
So there's lots of baleen whales and there's lots of toothed whales. Any specific that you'd like to know about?
I went on a whale watch once and we saw a humpback whale.
You saw?
I like the humpback whale.
Aren't they cool?
Yes.
What was the humpback whale doing when you saw it?
It was going.
Yeah. Do you know what they're doing when they do that?
Breathing.
They're breathing, that's right, because whales, just like us, they have to breathe air, even though they live in the water. Isn't that neat?
Because are whales fish?
No! Despite living their whole lives in the water, whales are not fish. So they're mammals just like us. They have warm blood,
Whoa.
they feed milk to their babies,
Oh.
and they actually have hair before they're born. They have little mustaches when they're in their mommy's tummy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cool?
Wow.
So when they go, they come up to the surface, and then they breathe through their nose, which is on the top of their head.
That's silly.
It's silly, but it works, right? If you're just peeking your head up, you don't have to put your nose back to
That
breathe.
does make sense.
Yep.
If you're a whale.
If you're a whale.
Sure.
And you know what that's called when they blow?
Smelly?
It is very smelly. It's called snarge.
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 I
Yeah.
like that word. I'm going to use that. Snarge.
Yeah, whale breath is snarge.
That's cool.
So humpback whales.
Does it smell like fish?
It does smell like fish. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
Yeah. So they humpback whales eat a lot of fish. They'll eat krill as well, but fish are their favorite. And around here they eat herring and sand lance, which is a little tiny fish that looks like an eel. And a big 40-foot long whale eats nothing but little tiny fish.
That is kind of weird, actually. Miss Katie,
Yes,
how do they chew their food if they don't have teeth?
they don't.
They swallow it whole?
They swallow it whole, and if they're a
I
baby,
get in trouble with my mom when I do that.
yeah, so they are able to do that because their breathing tube, their trachea, and their stomach tube, their esophagus, are not connected.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So can I tell you a fun story?
Yes.
So when I worked on a whale watch, once there was this whale, and it was a humpback whale, and it was coming up, and it was reaching with its head, so it was pushing its head against the water. Because you know what happened?
No.
It got a big fish, this big, and they have very small throats stuck in its throat.
Oh, no.
So it was giving itself a Heimlich maneuver, trying to get the fish out of its throat. And the name of that whale is now Hake, which is the fish that it finally coughed up.
That is really funny.
Isn't that funny?
I like that story.
Very cool. And another cool thing about humpback whales, have you heard of scientific names?
No.
So scientists like to give all animals scientific names. So that way, no matter what language we're all talking about the same animal. And the scientific name for humpback whale, it's a pretty big one. It's Megaptera novalangliae. So you don't have to remember that, but you know what it means?
What does it mean?
So Megaptera means big wings.
Oh, they
And
do have really
really long flippers.
Flippers.
Yep, otherwise known as pectoral fins. If you want to sound,
Pectoral fins.
yep, or
Okay.
flippers is fine. And
That one's easier to say.
Yep, and novalangliae means New Englander.
No way!
Yeah, just
so
like
it's
us.
a big winged New Englander.
Yep, that's the scientific name for humpback whale.
That's fantastic.
Yep, and did you know that humpback whales sing songs?
What do they sound like?
Oh, well.
Whoa, that sounded really cool, Miss Katie.
Yeah, and only the boys sing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the boys sing, and their song
What are they
changes.
singing?
They're singing, "Hey ladies, let's make some more humpback whales."
That's a cool song.
Yeah, that's.
Did you
that's
just
pretty-
make that up?
I did make
Oh,
that up.
that's really
That's
neat.
really not exactly what they're saying, but that's kind of the general idea.
All right.
Yeah.
What else is cool about humpback
Let's
whales?
see, what else is cool about humpback whales? So many things. So their tail has a pattern on it. Have you seen humpback whale tails before?
When they go really deep, they put their tail up.
Yep. That helps give them leverage, and there's black and white patterns on it, right?
Yeah.
So those black and white patterns are just like our fingertips or our thumbprints. So every animal has a unique pattern on their tail, and then scientists, every time they take a picture, we can watch where they go, and we can see how old they are, and we can do all sorts of studies and learn all about them without having to do anything bad to them.
All from looking at their tail?
Just from looking at their tail. It's called.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have your? Can I see your fingerprint?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think we can learn from your fingerprint?
That I like glue.
Yeah. You like glue? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I have lots of glue on my hands.
Oh, yeah. I don't think whales have too
Lots
much.
of crafts.
Awesome. Keeps you fun.
Yeah.
Do you make any whale crafts?
Not yet, but I will after this video.
Awesome. Cool.
So, what other whales can we learn about today, Miss Katie?
So the other whales that we can learn about are right whales. Have you heard of right whales?
No! Do they take lots of right-hand turns?
Well, yes.
Are
but
they
make
right-finned?
They're right fin, left fin, but unfortunately the name right whales comes from the whaling way back when. So they were the right whale to kill
Why?
because they had so much blubber that the whalers could make a lot of money out of them. And it was, they were able to kill a lot of whales really fast, and they've actually, they brought the population down to very, very few number of whales.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, we don't kill them anymore,
Oh,
which
that's
is
good.
great, but they're still having a hard time coming back. So the humpback whales that we just talked about, they were hunted to near extinction too, but the right whales haven't come back like the humpback whales have.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad. Do you know why that is?
Why?
So there's two big reasons that the right whales are struggling. So they're a big whale, and they don't move particularly fast.
I thought all whales were big.
They are big. They're a very, very rotund whale.
Oh, how big are they?
Oh, they're about 40 feet long and about 40 tons. Isn't that crazy?
That is a lot.
That's a big whale. Do you weigh 40 tons?
No.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
think I weigh 4 pounds.
4 pounds. That's a good weight for
Yeah.
for a little Katie.
Yeah.
So right whales, they live all along the eastern seaboard. So they hang out near Boston, near New York City, near New Jersey.
So
And
they like the cities?
Yeah. So there's some people like
City whales.
urban whales. Actually, there's a whole book on it. Your parents should read it. It's fun. But the right whales, they have troubles because when they're feeding at the surface, sometimes they get hit by ships.
Oh
And-
no.
Yeah, and when they're feeding down below the surface, they can swim into fishing gear, and so many animals get entangled in fishing gear or hit by boats that their population is actually declining.
As gray whale season comes to an end, we look forward to our spring humpback season. We just didn't think it would start like this. A moment that began with so much excitement, a giant splash on the horizon, the sure tail sign that a humpback whale had just jumped out of the water, quickly faded to horror as we realized why this whale was jumping. It was entangled in a commercial gill net used for catching swordfish. It was devastating knowing we would not be able to help this whale. It was too dangerous. It was too stressed out. It was a brutal example of just how unsustainable certain forms of commercial fishing are. This whale breached for hours trying to free itself, and when it was last seen a few days later, it was still entangled. Only a few days later, we were dealt another devastating blow. Twitch, the humpback made famous for jumping around San Diego's coastal waters the previous summer, reappeared with a horrific injury to its tail, likely from an entanglement in fishing gear. This summer, we had a history-making encounter with a beluga whale in San Diego waters, thousands of miles from its home in the Arctic. Despite being so far from home, this whale appeared to be healthy, well-fed, and not in distress. It became something of a celebrity for us San Diegans, as it became headline news around the world and was featured in publications like National Geographic. It broke our hearts when this whale was found washed up dead a few months later off the coast of Mexico. When the whale was found, it was still in what would appear to be positive body condition. It's believed this beluga whale drowned as a result of being entangled in fishing gear. These moments are not fun to film. They're horrific to witness. and sharing them with you is not something I do lightly. But it is important that us humans see the impact that we have on the natural world, see the pain that we cause in our greed and selfishness. If you think the occasional entangled whale is not a big deal, I would invite you to look at this whale here. It had likely been entangled for months, a tight wrap around the base of its tail. Its tail no longer functional, no longer alive. Nonetheless, it can take 6 to 18 months for a whale to finally succumb to an entanglement like this. These incidents are only increasing as the worldwide demand for seafood continues to explode. But we as human beings, we have to find a way to be better than this.
So many animals get entangled in fishing gear or hit by boats that their population is actually declining. It was going up. We had it going up for about 20 years, but in the last few years, all of the conservation efforts that we've put forth were in their habitat. And their habitat, the Gulf of Maine, is warming very, very quickly. And if it gets really hot, you tend to go to a cooler area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just what the whales did. All of a sudden, they left the Gulf of Maine and went into the St. Lawrence River, where all of those protections that we had were gone.
Oh no!
Yeah, so we're doing lots, the scientists are doing, and conservationists and the fishing industry and the shipping industry are doing a lot to try to bring the same level of conservation throughout their habitat as we had in the Gulf of Maine, but it's taking a little bit of time to get up and running.
Oh, well, I hope they hurry up.
Yeah, me too.
I think the right whales hope they hurry up too.
Yeah, right whales are really cool, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're very neat. They only, so we were talking about fish earlier, right whales only eat copepods, and copepods are these like little sea lice. They're this big, super, super tiny. And that's
How does a whale survive on such a small food?
They have to eat so much of it. It's very, very, lots and lots of copepods. So one of the things that I work on is we're trying to make an early warning system for right whales.
Oh, that's good!
Yeah.
How?
So we listen to sound. I am what's called a marine bioacoustician. So marine, I work in the water, biologist, and acoustics, which means sound.
Wow!
So what we're trying to do, and what they have done in Boston, is put out these listening stations that listen for right whale calls. Right whales make this call, it's called the up call. That's kind of like saying hello. They're like, hello? Oh, hello?
Oh, wow!
Yeah, so we as scientists can record that, and if we detect a right whale, we can say, there's a right whale in this area. Can the boats please slow down so they are less likely to interact or collide with the whales?
Oh, that's really neat!
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we're working on. The other things that we've done in the past is when there's a shipping lane that goes through the right whales, basically their living room, we've asked the shipping lanes to move over just a little bit, because we can't really ask the right whales to move, can we?
No.
We can say, please move, right whales, but they don't speak English, do they?
I don't think they do. What if
No.
you try doing it in whale?
What if you
Hello, whale!
Yeah, just like in Finding Nemo.
It worked in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, it did, but unfortunately that doesn't quite work so well in the real
Oh,
world.
bummer.
I know, it would be super easy, like, there's a ship coming. Don't
Yeah.
come to the surface, please.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be great. But until we get to that point, we have to change our behavior to help the whales.
Sure,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So one of the things that you can do is to write to your congresspeople, tell them that whales are important and the right whales are important, and to support legislation that will support the whales. So you can write your congressman or congresswoman a letter, say whales are great, protect the whales. And
Sure.
yeah, they'll probably respond back to you as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I did that when I was your age.
Yeah, did
Yep.
you get a letter back?
Yep, we absolutely did. We actually wrote to the president and we got a letter back.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's right whales. Did you want to talk about some of the odontocete whales. The last ones we talked about were the baleen whales, the mustache whales.
Yes, the mustache whales.
Mustacetes. Yep, so let's talk about some odontocetes.
The toothed whale.
The toothed whales, yep. Do you have a favorite toothed whale?
I like the orca.
The orca? Those are very
Yes.
cool. Did you know that the orcas are actually dolphins?
No.
They are the biggest dolphin in the whole world, and they are found in almost every ocean.
Really? How big are orcas?
Okay, orcas are about 25 to 30 feet.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're pretty big. That's big for a dolphin,
That
right?
is big for a dolphin.
Yeah. Again, they're one of the odontocete whales, but they don't chew either.
Wait, they have teeth, but they don't chew?
They have teeth, but they don't chew.
Wow.
So you know how you have the flat teeth in the back of your mouth?
Yeah.
Called molars, and you
Yeah.
got the pointy ones up here?
Yeah.
They only have the pointy ones, so they can't really chew their food.
Oh, so
But
it's
the-
just for grabbing.
Yep, grab, take a chunk off, and then swallow it whole.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow, that's neat.
yep. And do you have some foods you like and some foods you don't like?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
it's very cool. So orca whales, they have different families based on the foods that they like.
Oh, really? So if my family likes to eat broccoli and I don't, I would go move to a family that didn't like broccoli.
Not that would be nice, right? That unfortunately that's not quite right. So,
Oh, that's not how it works?
no. So
Oh.
imagine
I was putting out applications.
yeah, me too. So southern residents, they live around Seattle and Washington. They only eat fish, and they really only like salmon. Do you like salmon?
I'm vegetarian.
Oh, you're vegetarian. Awesome. That's great. High five. That's good for you, good for the environment. But these orca whales only eat salmon. And there's other orca whales. They eat even more meat. You know what they eat?
What?
They eat other marine mammals. So they eat seals, they eat dolphins, they eat whales, and that's actually how they got their name. Killer whale. They are whale killers.
Oh,
So these
wow. I didn't know
different ecotypes,
that.
they don't talk to each other. They don't come over for dinner. They don't marry each other. They are just completely different.
Wow.
They've been so different for so long. They even look different.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So the ones that only eat other marine mammals, they have shorter dorsal fins, so the fin on their back.
Yeah.
So they can go fast and maneuver quickly. And you know what? They actually sound different. They talk different
Wow.
because their food, seals, they can hear like we can, right?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go out hunting, are we gonna be chatty and like, hey, how's it going? What have you been up to?
No, probably not.
No, we're
That
gonna
tells
be-
them you're coming.
Yeah. So the
Gotta
man-
be stealthy.
stealthy. Okay, we done being stealthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're gonna be the southern residents, the salmon eating killer whales.
Sure.
Ah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Have you seen Bob? Where's Bob?
I don't know. I think he was over there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, look, there's some fish. You want to go eat some fish?
Yeah, let's go eat some fish.
Yeah, so the southern residents, they can be chatty all the time
Because
because
salmon don't hear them coming.
they don't hear the same way marine mammals do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool,
Yeah,
huh?
that is cool.
So those are the killer whales, and then there's different ecotypes all over the world. So in Antarctica, there was a whole different ecotype discovered, and they look really, really different from any other killer whales or orca whales that we've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah, Google's Antarctic killer whale species just discovered. They're very neat. They look like a orca whale that was chasing something, and then the something stopped, and they got their head smushed. So they've got a very short nose.
I didn't realize we were still discovering new species of whales.
Yep. Occasionally we discover new species of whales. So
That's cool.
in the Gulf of Mexico, the Brutus whale, we knew there were whales there, but we didn't know that they were a different species. So those are just recently discovered, and there's a big push to conserve them because there's only about, at the maximum, 50 animals.
Wow, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot, right? That's not a lot to have a healthy, thriving community of whales.
Right.
So they are also endangered.
Oh no.
Yep. But yeah, we are discovering new animals all the time.
Miss Katie, are there any other toothed whales?
Oh, there's lots of them. You know what one of my favorites is?
What?
The narwhal.
Oh, that just sounds cool.
Doesn't it? So, have you heard of narwhals before?
Not really.
So, narwhals, they live in the Arctic, and they
Ooh, that's way up
way
north.
north.
Yeah, where it's really, really cold.
Yeah, you can't.
And there's lots of ice.
lots of ice.
Oh, that sounds like a cool place to live.
Colder than here.
Making me cold.
Yeah, you can't get there from here, dear.
No.
No. So narwhals, what's really cool about them is they have a big long tusk coming out of the front of their mouth. And it's a tooth that's, instead of going down like ours, it's going straight out. And it's
Wait, it's a tooth?
it's a tooth.
They have a tooth tusk?
Yep.
Tusky tooth?
Way back in the day, the whalers would come from Europe and kill these whales and take their tusk, and they'd come back. You know what they'd say the tooth was?
What?
Unicorn horn. Yeah, so all those people that thought they were getting a unicorn horn, they were getting a narwhal tooth.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But the narwhal tooth is really cool because it has nerve endings throughout it, so they can feel things. If you tap on your teeth,
Yeah.
you can't feel too much. Sometimes
too much.
a little bit cold, sometimes a little bit hot.
Sure.
But what they do, what we think one of the reason for that is, remember how we were talking about whales breathe air just like we do?
Yeah.
So if you live in the Arctic, what is in the Arctic? Lots of
Ice. Lots of ice.
Yep, and ice forms on top of water, right?
Yes, when it gets really cold.
When it gets really cold or a storm comes through, and that's problematic for the narwhals
Sure.
because they need to come up to the surface to breathe.
To breathe, yeah, that would be bad if
Yeah.
the ice came over and they couldn't breathe.
Exactly, they'd get stuck and they'd die.
Yeah.
So
Oh no.
what we think they do is they'll often stick that tooth up into the air, and they should be able to detect temperature and pressure changes like a barometer. Let them know that a storm is coming, and they need to get away from the ice edge so they don't get trapped.
A barometric tooth.
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but we
That's
think
really cool.
That's one of the reasons that they could have the tooth.
Wow.
They're very cool, and they're spotty. It's called dappling.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that would be fun. Would you like to go to the Arctic one day and see some narwhals?
Yes, but
Yeah.
only for a short time and with a really warm coat.
Really warm coat, some good gloves, a good hat.
Yeah.
And while you're up there, you might see some bowhead whales. They're another of the misticete whales. And do you know how long a bowhead whale lives?
No.
Take a guess.
20 years.
20 years. That's. Can you add an extra 0 to that?
20 plus, that's 200.
200.
No way.
Yeah, at least 200 years old.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're a big animal and they grow really slowly, but we don't know how long the oldest one is, but that's the oldest one that we know of.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, other whales don't live quite so long. So the killer whales that we were talking about are the orca whales. They live about 50 years.
Oh, wow.
And then that's about the same for, I think, for the humpbacks and the minkies as well. Oh, we haven't talked about minkies.
Oh.
Can I tell you the scientific name of minky?
Yes, what is it?
It's really cool. It rhymes with Hakuna Matata.
What?
It's Balanoptera acuta-rostrata, which means pointy nose or pointy rostrum.
Whoa.
Acuta-rostrata.
That's
What a
really
wonderful
cool.
phrase.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to be able to repeat that though.
Oh, sure you can. Ready? Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. I'll say it first and then you say it.
Okay, that's good.
Balanoptera acuta-rostrata.
Oh.
No, we'll do it on 3, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we got this. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Balanoptera
acuto-rostrata.
Rostrata.
Just like Hakuna Matata.
Whew. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
what's the biggest whale?
The biggest whale. Oh, that's the blue whale.
Oh.
Yeah, they live on the west coast and the east coast. The west coast ones are doing okay, but our local east coast ones are endangered too.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. But they have a really cool scientific name.
Oh, what is it?
So the guy who invented scientific naming, Linnaeus, had a really good sense of humor. Do you know that blue whales are the biggest animals that ever lived on Earth?
No.
Ever, bigger than all of the dinosaurs.
How big are they?
Well, they used to be up to 120 feet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now they're getting a little bit smaller. But even though they're the biggest whale on the planet Earth, the Linnaeus, who invented scientific names, he called them little gray mouse.
What?
Yeah, I know. You know, sense of humor.
That's so silly.
Yeah. So that's a Balanoptera musculus.
Balanoptera musculus.
Musculus. Yep.
Ooh, that's fun to say. I can say that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Ooh.
Blue whales. The largest animal to ever live on our planet. It's thought that less than 1% of the world's population will ever see a blue whale. Weighing up to 400,000 pounds, they dwarf even the largest dinosaur, which was only about 180,000 pounds. While blue whales are actually mostly gray with a slight bluish tint to their skin, they get their name because on a sunny day, when viewed underwater, these whales glow a bright, vibrant sapphire blue. While the population of blue whales that summers off the coast of California is one of the healthiest stocks of these animals on Earth, this is still a highly endangered animal. There was once as many as 300,000 blue whales. Now only a few thousand are left, and that is the impact of commercial whaling in the 19th and 20th centuries. Thanks to public outcry, in 1986, a ban on commercial whaling went into effect worldwide. But the damage was done. Though blue whale numbers have slowly recovered, they will likely never come close to their pre-whaling numbers.
Very cool.
So, what else can you tell me about the blue whale?
So the blue whales are found, we actually have some here in the Gulf of Maine. They're in the St. Lawrence, they're more up in the St. Lawrence estuary, but they also live on the west coast.
Oh, wow.
And they only eat little tiny shrimps. They're called krill. Have you seen Finding Nemo?
Yes.
Yeah, remember when the krill were going, run away, run away?
They were very little.
They were very little, yeah.
That's silly that whales can live off such a
They
small
get
food.
so big
Yeah.
off such a tiny, tiny food.
Wow. How much do they have to eat?
Lots.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
they-
guess so.
Yeah, I don't know, to tell you the truth, exactly how much they eat, but they eat lots and lots, and they travel hundreds of miles to find a patch of krill or fish in order to take that big gulp of fish and seawater and to get the food out of it. Oh, can I tell you one more cool thing about some of the baleen whales?
Yeah.
So they have their grooves on these throats, and they're called pleats. And
Pleats,
just
like in pants.
exactly, just like in pants or in an accordion.
Yeah.
So when they open their mouth to take that giant gulp of seawater and fish, that expands just like an accordion. And they can fit, blue whales can fit an entire swimming pool worth of water in their mouth at one time
That is a lot.
before they push it out, all the water out, and keep the krill and the fish in there.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting.
I think so. But yeah. Otherwise.
whale sound, and I had a hard time hearing it.
You did, yeah. That's because the sound wave is below the range that we can hear. So the sound wave that they make is so big that it's bigger than your whole body. So you might be able to feel it, but our ear canals are really tiny, so you can't hear it.
Wow.
If you want to hear, what you can do is you can speed it up. So that makes the sound waves shorter, and then they can fit into our ear canals, and we can start to hear them.
How far does the sound go?
Or ear canals, and we can start to hear them.
How far does the sound go?
Oh, it goes so far. It's actually a so far channel. We'll talk about that later. So the sound can travel many, many miles. For those low frequency blue whales, they can be talking to each other across. If they wanted to talk across ocean basins, they could talk to each other across the ocean basins. They probably don't, because they probably don't have a lot to say to someone on the other side of the world, but they can if they want to. Because
The other side of the world?
the other side of the world. Isn't
Whoa,
that
that's
nuts?
a long ways away!
Yeah, so that's
Like picking up a telephone.
it's just like
Only
picking up a telephone. Only the sound just bounces around through that so far channel. It goes so far.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. But other animals, they'll use echolocation. So just like bats or sonar. So they'll produce sonar sound. The odontocetes will do this to detect where their prey is, and they'll go click, 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 and then catch the prey.
Wow, how does that work? So they send a sound out.
Yep.
How does that tell them where it is?
So the sound will go out, and it will bounce off an object and come back. And the time it takes to bounce off that object and come back will tell them where the object is. We all kind of do this a little bit, even as humans. We can tell if we're in a big room or a small room, or if there's lots of people around, or if there's few people around, just by listening with our ears.
Wow,
Because-
that's crazy.
Yeah, so because sound travels so far in the ocean, and light doesn't, it's pretty. Have you looked in the ocean?
Not recently.
Well, it's kind of like over here, where it's really dark. The light doesn't travel very far, but the sound does. So sound is
wow.
super important to us.
Yeah. So do you use a microphone or how do you?
Yeah, so we use something called a hydrophone, which is just like an underwater microphone.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
Wow, I didn't know you could learn so much about whales just from their sounds.
yep, just from their sounds, and we've learned that different whales have different languages and different cultures, all based on their sounds. It's really, really neat.
That is really neat. Well, I am so thankful that I got to talk to you today and learn so much about whales. Thank you so much, Miss
Yeah.
Katie.
It was so nice to meet you too. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love talking about whales and sharing all my knowledge about whales. So anytime,
All right. I might call you up.
call me up. We'll have a coffee. It'll be great. Yeah.
I don't drink coffee. My mom doesn't let me.
Oh, that's okay. We'll have a juice.
Oh, good juice. I like
yeah.
juice.
Do you like orange juice or?
Yes, I like orange juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll definitely have an orange juice then. Ready?
All right. All right. High five.
So nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.